What's up, guys? I'm Frosty the Sandwich. Welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Today we're doing another VOD review. I managed to make it into Grandmaster 1, and I've been playing a lot of different characters, but I happened to get a pretty good Magik game recently, and I wanted to do a review of it because I realized I haven't shown a whole lot of high-level Magik gameplay in my videos, even though I have a bunch of guides for her. So I thought I'd correct that. I did actually die. So I got 37 kills. I got top frags in this game, but I also died 12 times, and I definitely could have played better. So I thought this would not only be a good learning experience for what's right, but what take a look at what I was doing wrong and maybe get a little better. Here, I did a little bit of a troll vote for Spider-Man, but I knew for a fact that Waffle was a lord on Spider-Man because I'd seen him in multiple games previous, and he'd been very good on that character. And despite the fact that it was 25%, I got the ban through, which I have zero regrets about. If you at the higher ranks, you're probably gonna see the same people a lot, like sometimes even over and over. So target banning them is gonna become normal as you get up in the leaderboard. But the rest of the bans were pretty standard there, nothing to talk about. But I really like Magik, especially in a meta where we're typically only having one tank, because she can kind of play like an off-tank role, and that's typically how I play her, especially in ranked. I'll play her more flanky and just assassin-like in quick play to have fun and get frags, but when I'm playing ranked, I am typically inside my team. And I will flank occasionally, especially if the situation calls for it, but most of the time I'm just here in their face doing stuff like that. So that was a sort of a mix-up of one of her primary combos where I actually added a shift into the alt-fire E combo. I was able to pick up a kill on the healer there. They're a good showcase of the animation cancel on her melee. You might notice I don't tend to use it every auto attack. I've seen some Magik players where they'll literally do a melee cancel every primary attack, like every swing of the sword. I don't tend to do that. I did start off doing that, and I just felt like it was a little clunkier, and like there's just places where it makes sense to do it and it feels right to me. And I do it. But if you're one of those players who does it every auto attack, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. It's just sometimes you'll actually kill faster by not adding the animation in, and then sometimes you need the extra damage. So it really is just playing the character a lot and figuring out when you need to add the cancels in and when not to. So far, we've mostly been playing with our team. We have found a couple of one-off skirmishes, mainly the one against Namor. But otherwise, we're kind of just sticking with our team, making sure that we can back up our tanks, and fighting around our Strange. Fighting around your tank on Magik is usually a very strong strategy and hard for the team to deal with, because if they try and focus the tank, the healers just keep them alive, and you can kind of come in for free. And if they focus you, you can just dive back behind the tank, and the tank has all the time in the world to deal damage. So she very much can be played as an off tank. And I encourage you to play this style on her instead of just a core flank style. And you can even do like a hybrid, which I kind of do. It's not always gonna be this, but especially on attack. I think more on defense you should pretty much play with your team and not really look to flank. But on attack, that's when you have a lot more freedom to look for off angles and just come in behind the enemy team. And yeah, here the positioning is still, we always want to kind of be on point, and that's the reason. Unfortunately, we didn't realize the enemy team basically ported in, and Iron Man got a huge ult off on us. And I do believe we try and come back in and ult and save it, but we just get immediately deleted, which is a good segue into my love-hate relationship with her ultimate. Sometimes you're just gonna die. Granted, that was basically the entire enemy team I just tried to portal into. And so yeah, you're not invincible in it, and sometimes if you don't plan it right, aka the entire enemy team has time to look at you, you're probably just gonna die. You're not gonna get a whole lot of value. If I had held it for like this moment, it probably would have been way more impactful. The enemy team's focus is way more divided. You can get away with murder. I think The main point I'm trying to get across here for Magic is try and pick moments where the enemy team's not gonna be able to focus on you. They need to be engaged in something. Maybe somebody else is already ulting. That can be a very good time. Just you pair your ultimate with somebody else's, maybe a support ultimate. I love pairing my ultimate with support ultimates because, especially like Luna or Mantis, I guess Invisible Woman would be nice too, although it's not quite as mobile. But you can do murder with her ultimate. But even if you don't have those ultimates, you can still be very elusive. It really is up to the enemy team to punish you while you're ulting. If they don't punish you, you can get a lot of value and get to that backline. So we were probably a little too pushed up there. I think our positioning was maybe just the issue there, and we went down because the entire enemy team was just surrounding us. I do believe 2 other people went down. There is a good example of one of the ways I really like to deal with flyers on her is to use the shift whirl combo and her E. In fact, I think here you see me shift, hold the whirl, E up, and then I use the whirl attack to take out that Iron Man. And that's maybe something that I don't see as often as just using the raw. You use the whirl and the E together. Use the E to get up to him sometimes, and then you can use the whirl attack while you're up in the air, and that can be even better than trying to do it vice versa in some cases. And then if that doesn't kill them, usually a charged alternate fire will, albeit you do have to land it. Can sometimes be easier said than done. You'll see me focus the strange a lot in these fights, and that's one of the things that melee characters in particular can do is really focus shield tanks and punish them for existing. All your attacks go through his shield. They not only go through his shield and deal damage to him, but they damage his shield too. So you really apply a lot of pressure to Strange if he's on the field, and there's almost always a Strange on the field because he's such a good tank. So I think Magik is a very good character right now. I do believe I put her in A tier in my tier list for solo queuing ranked, and I stand by that. I think she's incredibly strong. Here showing you how strong the third-person camera abuse can be. I think not enough people, especially on melee characters, you really need to be abusing the fact that you can see people around corners and force them to have to come to you and close the gap. Especially in a game where almost everyone else can shoot at you. Abusing that third-person camera is going to give you that slight edge that you need as a melee character to win fights. They're really good freeze by Luna. She was dead if she didn't freeze me there. So I love to see it. Unfortunately, it still wasn't enough, and I hunt her down anyway. You gotta kill those healers, guys. Send them back to spawn. Make their team suffer. And that may have been just me being salty because she denied any value in my ult there. I don't know if you saw, but she basically was just healing everyone I was trying to attack through, mainly the Iron Man. I'm always focused on this Iron Man to take him out first, and then we can focus on other people. I mean, well, I'll take a healer if I can, but the Iron Man's kind of just front and center and dealing a lot of damage and poking to my team. So taking him out first is usually a good idea. Plus he's exposed, and we just don't want him to feel safe being able to play in open space. We want him to at least be scared to fly basically in the middle of the lane and do stuff like that. Because if he's allowed to take that space, he's going to be a very impactful character and basically win the game for his team. So we're here back on cart. They do manage to get the second point. And so here we're again going for this Iron Man. He's up in the sky, he's exposed, he's less likely to be healed by his healers, so we know if we can get to him quick and deal enough damage, we can definitely take him out. Unfortunately, his healers do keep him alive, but that's okay. We can basically dive the healers now, and something I love to do, and you should start incorporating, is what I just did here. Is I basically dove past the enemy team, isolated one healer, took them out, ducked behind cover for a split second to get my ult off safely, and then came in and basically went to work on the enemy team. I didn't necessarily take out the whole team, but I did enough damage there to allow the rest of my team to come in and just sweep them. Thankfully, our Strange puts a portal up and we're right back into the action. Luna does use her ult here, which is good for us because it doesn't look like she got a whole lot of value and her team still went down after it anyway. Here, this is maybe a little too close to the Strange, unfortunately, with his E fully charged. So that's the problem. Strange is deadly. If he's not holding his shield up, Strange can be very deadly to you as a Magic player. And you might just see your health bar. You might just see your health bar go bye-bye. Here we realize that our Strange is going to portal us on point, so we hang back. And thankfully, the rest of the team kind of gets the memo. He did not calm this, so we basically had to listen to the audio cue for it. I came in swinging for the fences, just trying to displace. I saw where like the majority of them was, and my main goal there was to just displace them and to break them up so they didn't have like a strong formation there, which I believe I was successful at, despite the fact that I took a Hawkeye arrow to the dome. Nice shot, Waffle. There's payback for me banning out your Spider-Man. I'm sorry. Here, my team did go down. I like portaling there. I think it's always a good thing to try. But now that the portal's down, we gotta try it the old-fashioned way. And just pushing up Main Street by the looks of it. I do sometimes like to flank with Magik here, but I think in this case, just playing with my Strange is probably the better idea, especially to try and motivate my team to congregate around here. We're honestly just trying to get presence on point and show up and maybe touch the point safely without dying. Here we do finally make it up to the point, but there's still just too much of the enemy team on point, and being able to send effective damage downrange. So both Strange and I go down there, but we're fine. We're gonna try it again, and we're still gonna stick together again. I want to stick with my Strange here. I think playing around your tank as Magik again is a very strong strategy. And makes you very hard for the enemy team to deal with. Here, our Luna calmed that she was going to ult, so I decided to go a little aggressive there, and just go in and basically initiate the fight and start dealing damage to people. And thankfully, we get a couple of picks, and the enemy team falls after that. And here is something that might be a little frowned upon, but you know, if you do get a kill on the entire enemy team and you're trying to cap a point and hold space, you might just walk all the way up to their spawn door and ult them in the face. Yeah, this is why I love this character, honestly, is sometimes you can do stuff like that and make a combo video and feel like a badass. But yeah, honestly, the main thing there was to just push them back. Pushing up this hill right here is a nightmare, in my opinion. So if you can if you get a clean wipe on the enemy team to cap that point, try and at least get 2 or 3 people pushed through the door to go fight them in that little alleyway in front of their spawn, so they can't come take the high ground. I think that is a very strong thing to do and will absolutely help you win this map in particular, is holding the enemy team in their spawn door. On any map, try and find, because there's almost always going to be, I think they plan this intentionally with their map design, is there's spots on most of the maps that are advantageous to you and disadvantageous to you on no matter which side you're playing on, and you need to find where those spots are and then figure out, what can I do to help bypass that point? I'm okay fighting the enemy team at these points. I want to make sure that if we get a clean wipe on them, we immediately bypass these points, and like basically like you either need to run past those points and hold the team ahead of them is typically the solution to that. Either that or you can hold them in their spawn. But just taking the space in front of those spots can basically mean the difference between you winning or losing. Because if you let them set up on a particular spot, like trying to fight up that hill there, we could have easily just got stuck there and lost the game. It's just very hard to make it up that hill if the team gets set up there properly. There's not a whole lot of flanking opportunities outside of going through the building, and you can destroy the building so you can see through it and still defend very easily. So I really like trying to kind of just brute force this point, at least getting up that first hill, because this is honestly the hard point. Once you make it past this, the third point on this map is actually very easy in my opinion. If you're on the attack side, it's very open, it's very easy to get around people. This point right here, I think, is where the defense either makes it or breaks it. They're win or lose the game right here, and that's sort of what you're about to see. Is we were able to actually hold right here just before we push into that big room, where it's kind of a nightmare to hold that room. I don't think I've ever successfully held that room, but you can hold out here at this choke pretty easily. And the other thing is just map knowledge in general. Find sections of the wall that you can break, because there's almost always ways to get around the enemy team in these situations. And if you can convince maybe not your whole team, but at least a couple of you to go around and come behind the enemy team, it can be a huge boon to the team fight. Having just a couple of people that have a few seconds to shoot at somebody who's not shooting back at them is all it really takes to win a team fight. Here we do another aggressive ult. I liked this one a lot because it kind of shows a more defensive strategy you can use, is where you see I'm kind of playing around cover there. I was using the left side of that archway to basically keep my attacks covered, but still swinging around into the alleyway so that if anybody was in there, they'd immediately get hit. And I didn't necessarily get a bunch of kills there, but just applied a bunch of pressure, helped my team push up to the choke point and start taking it because they were all focused on me. And that basically made the entire enemy team crumble, and we were able to push through to the end of the point. And that is a showcase of Magik and Grandmaster level. I really love this character. She's definitely my favorite melee duelist, possibly my favorite duelist. It's between her and Storm right now. I love both these characters, and I've been playing a little bit more Storm because she's good now, but I still really like Magik. And if you're looking to rank up, especially in solo queue, and you want to play a melee character, I think Magik's not a bad way to go. Magik or Black Panther, for sure. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you want to help me out, please like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, stay frosty.